Today I've got some quick tips for beginners on how to get better aim in any first-person shooter game. Advanced players may still find these tips useful though too. This aim advice should translate over to any FPS you're playing and will increase your confidence when loading into a new game for the first time. Please do like if you find the video useful and consider subscribing for more shooter game and action gaming content. Tip number 1. Warm up and practice. You need to seek out engagement and don't be a chicken. Drop into the busiest zones over and over again to practice shooting, get used to the environment and how to handle recoil. This will also level up your weapons faster and give you quicker access to beneficial attachments like scopes and grips. Plunder on Warzone was a great game mode for that, or other multiplayer shooters like Battle Royales, where death doesn't have too much of a consequence and you can respawn easily. Obviously, for games like CSGO, Valorant and Siege, you don't really have a choice to avoid the heavy combat areas, so do use the shooting ranges and practice modes to be familiar with your gun so you don't shoot yourself the first time you fire off in battle. Tip 2. Know the map and hold your angles. If you know where the map's going and where your enemies are likely to be, you won't need to scramble to take aim when they do peek. For PC gaming, for example, this would just be a small micro adjustment of your mouse to move a short distance to your target, as opposed to if you were chilling focusing on a different spot and had to quickly move your aim in. Tip 3. Always aim at where your enemy's head is going to be. So no crotch shots, no floor shots. Keep your cursor or crosshair at head height, always. An important point to note here too is to buy a decent headset. Hearing your enemy approach and being able to pinpoint them from audio before you've got sight on them means the difference between you likely firing shots first or being second to fire and probably losing the firefight. Sennheiser is my personal current favourite brand for headsets that deliver a nice sound quality. There's a link in the description to a review of the Sennheiser GSP 370 wireless headset that my mates over at Gamebyte tested out. Let me know in the comments too what your favourite headset brand is of the moment. Okay, tip 4. Transfer your DPI and aim sensitivities across all your competitive shooting games and find a way for it to translate to games that may have different setups if you're on console. So for console in particular, do make sure you do the tutorial or training zone so you can adjust your sensitivity sliders. Try different DPI sensitivity settings on PC until you find one that you're most comfortable with. The majority of people will find that they need to reduce their sensitivity. In games like Siege, there's a different sensitivity requirement for when you're aiming in versus when you're scoped in. So the idea is you're looking for both the match and actuality, as in the sensitivity numbers may differ but it feels the same when you're actually playing. There are tons of different DPI videos on YouTube, so I'm not going to go into my specific settings, as it's personal for everyone and on PC in particular, personal to your playstyle. But the main point to remember with that is you just need to find the one that suits you best and use it across everything that you play. My final tip: don't panic when you're new at a game. Recoil isn't really the point here. It's literally just about managing your stress when you're trying to hit a target and you're most likely getting shot at too. What I'm saying here is don't pray and spray when you have your first few engagements. Take it slow, remember to aim, and obviously don't attack just in a straight line. Those are my 5 top tips to get better aim in shooters, but I've got some final general tips for beginners at shooting games too. Be sure to play with players better than you so you can learn. It can be tempting to just keep playing in your safety bubble with your mates, but if they're just as shit as you, and you actually want to get good and maybe even go competitive in the future, this isn't going to help you. Another thing is to always remember to reload, obviously, and in an intense fight where you and your enemy are both running down that clip super fast, you might be better off switching to your secondary weapon to get shots off whilst they're hopefully reloading. Beware of how in-game animations will affect the time it takes to bring your weapon back up to shoot, whether you're aiming down sights or not. So by this I mean animations like sprinting, and in Call of Duty's Warzone in particular, a lot of players die because of the gas mask animation. So this is when the gas cloud surrounds you and your character pulls on a gas mask if they have it, and it locks your character into a movement sequence where you can't shoot or get your gun up, which often will lead to your death, and most likely this happens near or in the final circle time too. That's it though, thanks for watching today's FPS tips video. Please like and subscribe to Frag Hero if you enjoyed it. I'd love to know what tips you've got to improve your aim in shooters, so share your knowledge in the comments below. See you next time on Frag Hero.